Hi class, this is the lesson on chapter 1-9b, the distributive property and mental math. And in particular, we're going to be talking in the last part of the lesson about how the distributive property can help us do some mental math. If you would see the problem that I have here for you, 3 times and then in parentheses 5 plus 2, and we usually say 3 times the quantity 5 plus 2, we know that we can simplify that by the order of operations. I'm supposed to do what's in the parentheses first, so I should be taking 3 times 7, and then my answer is 21. But the distributive property says I can distribute the 3 over the sum. You'll notice that you end up with 3 times 5. The first thing we do is take that factor times our first addend. Then we're going to take the factor times the second addend. Now I do the multiplication, 15 plus 6, and then the addition equals 21. The distributive property can combine multiplication with addition or subtraction. It does not involve division. So you'll notice that they distribute the 9 over the 4, which is why I have 9 times 4. Then I distribute the 9 over the 5, which is why I have 9 times 5. We can also use it with subtraction. So distribute the 5 over the 8 to get 5 times 8. Notice that again, they copy that subtraction sign inside that parentheses. Then I distribute the 5 over the 2. This is a property that's really important when it comes to algebra. So as you go further in math, you'll be using the distributive property more often. So if I have the quantity b plus c times a, I'm going to get a times b plus a times c. For subtraction, I'll have a times b subtract, gotta copy that subtraction sign, and then a times c for the distribution. In this first part, we have to figure out what's got to go in the box. And then we're going to solve the problem. Okay, if we're going to distribute this, I need to take the factor times the first addend. So in the box, I will need a 6. Then I'm supposed to take the factor times the second addend, so a 9 goes in the box. I'm supposed to multiply before I add, so 24, I can do it together in one step, 36, and it equals 60. Let's look at B. I'm going to take the negative 9 and distribute to the 4. What's missing to the right of the equal sign? Well, here's the 4, but I need the negative 9. Then I'm supposed to distribute the negative 9 to the 6. Notice the subtraction sign has been copied. Negative 9 times 6. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36 minus negative 54. Now, remember the other day when we were doing subtraction? And I told you we can do a shortcut. Perhaps you've already been shown this. We're going to add the opposite. And it's called exaggeration. I call it exaggeration. You're going to make a little bit larger than normal add sign and a little bit larger than normal plus sign or positive sign. Not plus sign, but positive sign on the negative 54. Our answer here is going to be 18. Let's look at C. Negative 5 should be distributed over the 12. What's missing to the right is the 12. Then I'm supposed to distribute the negative 5 over the 8, so a negative 5 has to go here. Negative 5 times negative 12 is negative 60. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. And negative 60 plus negative 40 is negative 100. Why don't you hit pause and you try example D. Okay, let's see how you've done. 3 is missing here. Notice the subtraction sign's been copied. The 8 is missing here. 3 times 14 is 42. 3 times 8 is 24. This is plain old subtraction, so I don't usually change it to add the opposite, and my answer will be 18. How we use it in mental math is an old strategy that is sometimes called combining or breaking apart. We take a look at the 53 and we look at it and say, you know what, that's 50 plus 3. And if I take 6 times 50, because I need to distribute the 6 to the 50, plus distribute the 6 to the 3, and get 6 times 3, I will have 300 plus 18. Now that's a pretty easy addition. My answer is 318. Let's look at example B. 29 is a lot bigger than 20, but it's really close to 30. So some people would actually want to do this using subtraction. That is an option for you of saying, you know what, I'm going to take that as 30 minus 1. I distribute 5 over the 30. Don't forget your subtraction sign. Then I'm going to distribute the 5 over the 1. That's 150 minus 5, which equals 145. Now, in all honesty, if you wanted to do this as 20 plus 9, you could. But sometimes that doesn't work so well. And sometimes it's just better to use subtraction. You have to make up your mind what's going to work well for you. 89. Now this is one where it's probably a little bit better to try and do it with subtraction rather than addition. You go ahead and try it after hitting pause. All right, did you distribute? 9 times 90 minus 9 times 1. That's going to be 810 minus 9 is going to give us a difference of 801. What do you think we're going to do with D? Yeah, I think too, it's probably a good idea to do 100 minus 1. Now you finish it out. Let's see how you've done. 6 times 100 minus 6 times 1 is going to be 600 minus 6, and that's going to give us an actual product of 594. Sometimes you're going to be asked to do it with decimals, and this can sometimes be a little trickier, but we can do it. If we think of 5.9, that's really 6. Take away a 0.1 or subtract a 0.1. If I distribute, I'm going to get 7 times 6 and then 7 times 0.1. Well, 7 times 6 is 42, and 7 times 0.1 is going to give me a 0.7. Now this is where I know for some of you it's going to be hard to think about working with decimals. Try to imagine it as money. If you had $42 and you paid for something with 70 cents, how much money would you have left? You would have $41.30 left, which is 41.3. If we look at B, here I think too it's probably better to do subtraction, where we take 4 minus 0.1. I'm going to skip the 0 before the decimal point. Distributing, I'll have 5 times 4 minus, since it's subtraction, 5 times 0.1. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 0.1 is 0.5. And that's going to be 19.5. This last one's a little harder, but we're going to try it. Okay? 7 times 8.2. 7 times 8 plus 0.2. Distributing, I'll get 7 times 8 plus 7 times 0.2. 56 plus 1.4. And that will be 57.4. And that concludes lesson 19B on using the distributive property. Catch you next time.